Hi, welcome to this IELTS video. Today we are going to write a Task 2 essay in response to this essay question. I will read the question to you now. It is more important for parents to be strict with their children than it is for them to be nurturing. Do you agree or disagree with this statement? And I'll just give you a moment to read the question again to yourself. Okay, so as you know, there are two loose structures that we can use when writing Task 2. And if you look in the ebook on page 58, you will see a nice breakdown of these structures. So one is the argument essay structure, and the other is the discussion essay structure. And the structures are very similar. They're both four paragraphs long. They both have an introduction paragraph, body paragraphs, and a conclusion paragraph. But the one main difference is that in an argument essay, you as the writer are declaring an opinion at the beginning of the essay, and then you are upholding this opinion throughout the rest of the essay, and you are maintaining that opinion into the conclusion. So it's a very linear, straightforward type of essay structure. The discussion essay structure is different in that it allows for the discussion of a topic before the writer's opinion is declared. And so, of course, this sort of essay structure is more appropriate for essay questions that ask you to discuss a topic or to analyze the advantages and disadvantages of a topic, or to examine different sides of an argument, if that's included in the question, if it instructs you to do that, then the discussion style of essay is a more appropriate approach. Okay? Now, today, as you can see in this question, we are being asked very clearly if we agree or disagree. So, of course, the more straightforward approach is to write an essay that follows an argument structure. Okay? So if you have questions that ask you to agree or disagree, or if they very clearly ask you to state your opinion, or use wording like, what is your opinion on this topic? Or if they say something like, declare your position on this topic, something that asks you very clearly for what your stance is on the topic, then these types of questions much more readily fit into the argument essay structure. Okay? All right, so now the argument essay structure, as you can see here, I've made a few notes just to guide myself as I write this essay. So we are going to develop an introduction paragraph, and we are going to state our opinion on this topic. And I've just noted to myself in preparation for making this video that I'm going to disagree. And the reason I'm going to disagree is that it's not necessarily that I feel like I should disagree. It's more that I feel that this is an easier essay to write. I can think of more examples that support the disagree side of the argument. Okay? So remember that your goal in IELTS writing is to maximize your score. And to do that, a very key strategy is to try to simplify the writing experience any way that you can. So don't really worry too much about your own personal feelings about any of these topics. What is important is whichever essay is easiest to write. And in my opinion, it is much easier to come up with points that support nurturing parenting styles than strict parenting styles. Okay, so my introduction paragraph is going to give some background information about the topic. It's going to declare the fact that I disagree with this sentence, okay? And then it's going to provide some sort of outline sentence to tell the reader what they can expect to see in the rest of the essay. Okay, so it's going to declare to the reader that in support of my position, I am going to use these supporting ideas. Okay? Now, In body paragraph 1, I will talk about how nurturing approaches in parenting help children develop themselves emotionally and socially. Okay? So that is going to be the main topic here in this paragraph, is that this approach to parenting helps support their emotional and social intelligence. And I'll probably include a sentence that offers an examination, a very brief examination of how strict parenting styles do not do this as well, and therefore they should not be considered as important. Okay? All right. Now, in a very similar manner, body paragraph 2 is going to follow a similar structure. We are going to use the supporting point that nurturing parenting styles promote a positive self-image among children. It improves their self-esteem, right? When they have a good connection with their parents, when their parents are giving them positive feedback, and it helps with their self-confidence. Okay, and we will develop this idea further. And once again, we will also probably provide maybe one sentence in this body paragraph that makes it clear that a strict parenting approach does not do this as well. Okay, so what happens at the end of body paragraph 1 and body paragraph 2 is that it's very clear that the nurturing side is better for children and therefore more important. Okay? And then what we do in the conclusion paragraph is we kind of summarize everything that we've talked about very briefly. And once again, we will declare that all of this evidence that we've looked at in the body paragraphs, okay, all of this evidence is in support of our disagree position. And it helps to show why this is the better opinion to have regarding this sentence. Okay? So in many ways, the conclusion paragraph is very similar to the introduction paragraph, especially in an argument essay, because it reflects a lot of the information that was initially brought up in the introduction. It says what the writer's opinion is. It restates what the writer's opinion is. And it also makes a declaration that the supporting points that were examined in the body paragraphs prove the writer's position. Okay? All right, now let's go ahead and start the writing. So we want to have a background sort of sentence about parenting. So this is the topic of our essay, which is parenting styles. Okay, so I might say something quite general about parenting. So maybe parenting styles or approaches. Parenting styles vary widely around the world. Okay, nothing too complicated, just something to introduce to the reader what our topic is for this essay. Okay, now we want to get a bit more narrow. So we will bring up the topics of strict parenting styles and nurturing parenting styles. Okay, so we might say something like, while some may argue that strict parenting styles have some benefits, I believe that a nurturing approach is ultimately key to a child's well-being and development. Okay? So while some may argue that strict parenting styles have some benefits, I believe that a nurturing approach is ultimately key to a child's well-being and development. So we've clearly stated our position. I'm going to actually just clarify this further in the next sentence and make sure that it very clearly links back to the subject of important. And I want to state clearly that I disagree, because that's what the instruction words are asking for here in the question. So I'm going to say, I thus disagree with the statement that it is more important for parents to be strict with their children than it is for them to be nurturing. Okay? So when the IELTS examiner reads this, there is no confusion. It is very clearly a response directly to this question and to this statement. Okay? Okay, so now in the final sentence of the introduction, we want to provide a bit of a roadmap for the supporting points. And this is a really easy way to gain some cohesion points in your exam, because it shows the examiner that you're able to link your ideas at the paragraph level. Okay, so we are going to bring up the two supporting areas that we're going to talk about in the body paragraphs, and this will help to link the introduction paragraph, okay, to this next section of the essay. Okay, so we might say something like, this essay will support this position by examining or actually, let me just change that to by looking at a child's emotional development and self-esteem. Okay? Okay, so what we've done in this sentence is very clearly declared the next areas that we are going to bring up and examine in this essay. All right, so that's the introduction paragraph finished. Now, when you look at it as a whole, it does a very good job of providing a bit of a roadmap for the rest of the essay. So when you read this, you know exactly what the topic is, you know what the scope of the essay is, and the word scope refers to the specific areas that can be included in this essay, the specific topics, right? So we're not specifically talking about educational approaches or, classroom arrangements or anything like that. We're talking specifically about parents and their approach to raising their children. That's the scope of our essay. And even more specific than that, the two areas we're looking at are strict parenting styles and nurturing parenting styles. That's the scope, and you can see that clearly from this introduction paragraph. The second thing is we very clearly see the writer's opinion. And the third thing is we very clearly see what supporting points are going to be brought up in the essay to prove our position or to support our position. Okay? Now, let's go to the first body paragraph. And we're talking about the subject of emotional and social intelligence. So I will use these words in the first sentence. So I might use the word firstly. So a nurturing parenting approach can foster emotional intelligence and social skills in children. Okay, that's going to be our first supporting point. Now we want to give some kind of example to show how this point is true, or to demonstrate to the reader that this point is indeed a fact that should be recognized and supported. So while parents are warm and supportive, let's type while, I think I meant when. When parents are warm and supportive, so we want to say that children feel secure, safe, and we want to say that this sense of safety is what can help them develop themselves emotionally and socially. Okay, so when parents are warm and supportive, children feel safe and secure, so which can help them develop healthy social bonds. So social bonds. And actually, we might even connect this to emotions by saying social bonds, and children feel safe and secure, which can help them to develop healthy social bonds and learn how to control their emotions or regulate their emotions. Okay. Okay, now what we will do now is we'll just flip over and make it clear that strict parenting styles would not be capable of doing this. Okay, so strict parenting styles, let's say. Did we use styles already? I just don't want to repeat the language. Strict parenting styles, then we'll just stick in here, however, because we were looking at an alternative position, may hinder, let's say, a child's relationships. But maybe we should say specifically their relationship with their parents. So this, strict parenting styles could possibly make it difficult for parents and children to have a warm relationship together. And this in turn, down the road, could be challenging for when the child becomes a teenager and they need support from their parents, but they cannot, they just don't have the relationship to tap into that support. So may hinder a child's ability to build strong relationships, which could be, actually I used which in the earlier sentence, so let's change this to, and this could be detrimental were a child, what's going on here? Were a child to reach their teenage years unable to seek guidance from their parents, let's say. Let's just read that again. Strict parenting styles, however, may hinder a child's ability to build strong relationships, and this could be detrimental were a child to reach their teenage years unable to seek guidance from their parents. Okay, now we need some kind of sentence to tie this paragraph back to our introduction. Okay, so as this shows, nurturing parents support the development of important basic skills, let's say. Okay. Nurturing parents support the development of important basic skills much better than strict parents. Okay, body paragraph 2. So we're talking about how nurturing parents, they promote a child's sense of self-esteem and their sense of self-worth and an overall positive self-image. Okay, so we might say, we need some transition language, of course, so further, or we could even, just to vary it a little bit, in addition to this. Okay, so parents who nurture also promote positive self-esteem and self-worth. In their children, or just in children. Okay, now we want to share an example. And so we might say that when children feel loved, okay, they are more likely to feel supported, and this can lead to a greater sense of confidence, in their ability to feel capable. Okay, these might be some words we use in this sentence. And they might even feel as though, they have a greater chance of success if they try things. So this might encourage them to be experimental, and all of these things are positive. So let's say, for example, when children are loved and valued by their parents, just want to make sure I'm not repeating any language here. When children are loved and valued by their parents, they are more likely to feel confident and capable. And we could say that this is very key to their sense of well-being. So which is crucial to their overall well-being and even their future success. Okay, so for example, when children are loved and valued by their parents, they are more likely to feel confident and capable, which is crucial to their overall well-being and future success. Okay, so in this next sentence, let's just flip it over and look at strict parenting styles. And we can point out that if parents are very critical of their children, this might actually have the opposite effect, and it might undermine a child's sense of confidence. It might impact their sense of self-worth, and this in turn could reduce their likelihood of being successful in the things that they try, because maybe they don't try as often, right? If they don't have the confidence that they would get through a nurturing parenting style. So let's switch this over by, now up here we used however, so here we don't want to use however again. Let's say in contrast, strict parenting that is, we'll say overly critical or harsh, can have the opposite effect. And undermine children's confidence and sense of self-worth. Okay, and then in the final sentence, we just want to tie this back to the essay question and the overall topic of the essay. So we might say just something general like, it is for these reasons. And by the way, I just want to point out that a lot of these sorts of phrases, when you see me write out an essay, it might seem like I'm going very quickly through it, but that's because I've done this a million times. And a lot of these phrases and structures I have used so many times over and over and over again that it comes very naturally to me. And I think if you carry on practicing in this way, you will find it comes naturally to you as well. So phrases like, it is for these reasons, that's not just unique to this essay. This is something that you can take and use in your own writing. Okay, of course you don't want to copy exactly what you see in this essay, but using phrases like this in essays that are on different topics, that would be totally fine. So it is for these reasons that a nurturing, now, just want to make sure we're not repeating language too much. A nurturing approach should be considered. And then we'll just go right back up to the essay question and say the word important, just to make sure that that connection to the essay question is clear. More important than, so it is for these reasons that a nurturing approach should be considered more important than one that is strict. Okay? Okay, now, the key here is to make sure that there's a sense of cohesion and that things are linking well together. So I'm going to read from body paragraph 1 into body paragraph 2, and I just want to make sure that language is not repeating, and I want to make sure that each sentence links in some way either to the sentences that came before or the sentences that are going to come later. Okay, so firstly, a nurturing parenting approach can foster emotional intelligence and social skills in children. When parents are warm and supportive, children feel safe and secure, which can help them to develop healthy social bonds and learn how to regulate their emotions. Strict parenting styles, however, may hinder a child's ability to build strong relationships, and this could be detrimental were a child to reach their teenage years unable to seek guidance from their parents. As this shows, nurturing parents support the development of important basic skills much better than strict parents. In addition to this, parents who nurture also promote positive self-esteem and self-worth in children. For example, when children are loved and valued by their parents, they are more likely to feel confident and capable, which is crucial to their overall well-being and future success. In contrast, strict parenting that is overly critical or harsh can have the opposite effect and undermine children's confidence and sense of self-worth. It is for these reasons that a nurturing approach should be considered more important than one that is strict. Okay, now we go to the conclusion paragraph. And if you've watched my other videos on IELTS essay writing, the conclusion paragraph is the easiest paragraph to write because you are not presenting anything new. All you are doing is you are restating your position. You are providing some kind of summary of the points that you brought up in the essay. And then you typically want to finish the essay with some sort of recommendation or some sort of prediction for the future, some sort of nice way. It's almost like a farewell to the reader, okay? So let's get started here. So we're going to start with, we could just say in conclusion, I guess. So we can, we don't have to strictly, summarize in the first sentence and then state our opinion. You can be a little bit flexible with these things. So I'm just going to restate my opinion right here. I believe that nurturing parents are ultimately, and I just hesitate to use ultimately because we did use that once up here, didn't we? I believe that a nurturing approach is, I'm going to just change this one to truly, okay? And don't forget that in your IELTS essay, if you read through it, you can cross things out, you can change words. The examiner is going to be forgiving, so long as you are clear in what you are changing, okay? So don't be too messy, but if you just cross something out and write another word on top, the examiner will understand and will be forgiving to that. In conclusion, I believe that nurturing parents are ultimately more important for children's well-being and development than a strict parenting style. In conclusion, I believe that nurturing parents are ultimately more important for children's well-being and development and the areas above have shown this clearly. And so now we want to finish the essay with something that gives a sense of closure. So by providing guidance and love, by providing love, support, we'll say love and support, nurturing parents can help their children to grow into happy, healthy, and successful adults. Okay, let's just read that again. In conclusion, I believe that nurturing parents are ultimately more important for children's well-being and development than a strict parenting style. Okay, now we're going to have, there's some problem with parallelism here. I believe that nurturing parents are ultimately more important for children's well-being and development than I'm going to say a nurturing parenting style is ultimately more important for children's well-being and development than a strict parenting style. And actually, you know what? I just don't want to repeat the word style. Sorry, lots of changes going on here. In conclusion, I believe that nurturing parenting is ultimately more important for children's well-being and development than a strict parenting style, and the areas above have shown this clearly. By providing love and support, nurturing parents can help their children to grow into happy, healthy, and successful adults. Okay, let's. I'm just going to remove these subtitles here, and let's just read the essay from start to finish, and you can see how the different parts link together and help to work as a team to support a position in response to this essay question. So let's go through the essay question 2. It is more important for parents to be strict with their children than it is for them to be nurturing. Do you agree or disagree with this statement? Parenting styles vary widely around the world. While some may argue that strict parenting styles have some benefits, I believe that a nurturing approach is truly key to a child's well-being and development. I thus disagree with the statement that it is more important for parents to be strict with their children than it is for them to be nurturing. This essay will support this position by looking at a child's emotional development and self-esteem. Firstly, a nurturing parenting approach can foster emotional intelligence and social skills in children. When parents are warm and supportive, children feel safe and secure, which can help them to develop healthy social bonds and learn how to regulate their emotions. Strict parenting styles, however, may hinder a child's ability to build strong relationships, and this could be detrimental were a child to reach their teenage years unable to seek guidance from their parents. As this shows, nurturing parents support the development of important basic skills much better than strict parents. In addition to this, parents who nurture also promote positive self-esteem and self-worth in children. For example, when children are loved and valued by their parents, they are more likely to feel confident and capable, which is crucial to their overall well-being and future success. In contrast, strict parenting that is overly critical or harsh can have the opposite effect and undermine children's confidence and sense of self-worth. It is for these reasons that a nurturing approach should be considered more important than one that is strict. In conclusion, I believe that nurturing parenting is ultimately more important for children's well-being and development than a strict parenting style. And the areas above have shown this clearly. By providing love and support, nurturing parents can help their children to grow into happy, healthy, and successful adults. Okay, I hope that you found that quick lesson a nice review of the argument essay style. Don't forget that you should be practicing both essay styles to ensure that you are comfortable with either should you be presented a question of that type in your exam. Okay, thanks very much for tuning in. Go to IELTS.com for more lessons like this one. If you're looking for personal coaching from me, I have an IELTS writing course that I hold through email. Just shoot me an email for information. It's ryan@IELTS.com. Thank you very much for liking and subscribing, and we will see each other again in the next IELTS video.